Priscilla.
Hi, Cindy.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
We're going to jump right into the questions and ask about couples. So what are some of the most common signs that someone is craving more from their relationship but doesn't really know how to say it?
Yeah, so common with a lot of the high achieving couples that I work with. It's this part where you're constantly talking about the responsibilities, right? You have your maybe taxes coming up, you have kids tournaments, you're talking about all the logistics, but you're not talking about each other. You're not having fun anymore. Maybe you're just scrolling on your phone next to each other instead of just cuddling up, right? So there's those moments where, if you are flying the wall, right? It just looks like, okay, you got this, I got this, you got that, right? And you kind of feel like passing ships at night.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a lot of the signs that are coming up, and sometimes it's hard for couples to see because it's like, hey, we are getting shit done, right? Like we are getting everything done, and we are on the same team and we're moving forward. But then it's like, well, wait a second, what happened to our love, that fun, passion, that spark? So.
Yeah, I can see how that's easily overlooked, especially when you're busy and you have children, they're in activities, and you're just, like you said, just passing by each other, and it's a schedule and a routine, but then you forget about each other's needs or everything.
So is there a way that someone should tell their significant other, hey, like, I know we have all this going on in life, but how do they say it to their partner? Like, I need more.
Yeah. So I think a big worry is that sometimes people feel afraid, like, I'm going to hurt my partner's feelings, or maybe they're going to get upset with me. And something that I always encourage people, regardless if it's, whoever's going to bring it up, it's coming from where, like, using an I statement, right? So saying hey, I miss you. I miss us. Like, we haven't maybe had sex in so long, or we haven't gone on a date night, and I just miss that connection. So being able to say, like, hey, how can we do this together? Because this is where I'm coming from, versus you never buy me flowers, you never do this, right? Because then the other person will immediately just go in defense mode and try to prove you wrong.
Yeah, and shut down. I can see that.
So they shouldn't feel guilty about asking.
Absolutely not. I mean, and this is something too, right? Like, we are humans and we can get bored.
Yeah.
And we want that excitement, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's in your career, right? So many people, I was listening to your podcast, and so many people have, like, shifted careers and changed things up because it's like, hey, I want something different, I want something fresh. Yeah. And it can be the same in your relationship. It's just a matter of saying, like, hey, like, this is normal, right? It's not a bad thing. It's just that you're ready for that next chapter and the next journey in your life.
Yeah.
I think the good thing about bringing it up is maybe your partner's feeling the same exact way, but both of you are just kind of scared to say anything. Yeah. So that would be good. What's the first step in having an honest conversation about wanting deeper connection without making your partner feel attacked?
I guess how to bring it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be, asking, like kind of mentioned, like, I miss you. Can we have a conversation, or maybe on our next date night? Yeah. Just maybe sharing, like, hey, you know what? This is really fun. Like, I enjoy having this, like, glass of wine with you, just, relaxing, not talking about the kids, not talking about all the responsibilities. Like, we need to do this more. Right. And there can be two ways, right? If you're already doing that, you can take advantage and say, like, I want more of this. In that way, the other person has a picture of what that looks like. Because I think sometimes too, we don't, we say, like, we want more. And it's like, well, more of what? Like, I'm here all the time, right? Like, what do you want more of? So sometimes if you're in the moment, you can actually say, like, let's pause. I want more of this. Like, what I'm feeling right now is one thing. And then, or if you're in a relationship where you really don't get to have that opportunity to have date nights, kind of saying, like, hey, like, we need to schedule this in. We need a, even if it's just like a massage at night together, it doesn't have to be a fancy getaway. It can just be something small at home.
Did you guys ever schedule date nights?
Did we? I always wanted to. I brought that up several times about wanting a date night, and it just never happened for us. But it wasn't even so much a date night. It's just a day. Like, let's go walk in the park. Let's do something where it's just us connecting. Right. Yeah. And couples need that. They need that connection.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah.
How can couples create a safe space for regular communication instead of waiting for conflict to talk? I think that is really important. So how can we make that happen?
I feel like a big piece when it comes to like making it happen, right, is that you are prioritizing communication.
Yeah.
You're prioritizing just checking in with each other. And it's not just like, hey, how's your day? Like asking like, hey, is there anything stressing you out today? How can I help you today? How can I, what's your week look like? Any way I can take something off your plate this week, right? Versus just like, how's your day? Because just like a teenager would respond,
Yeah.
usually like, good.
It doesn't feel like a genuine question.
Yeah.
It's just kind of checking a box.
Yeah. So definitely asking those open-ended like curiosity questions can definitely help create that safety net for your partner to know like, okay, I can open up, and maybe at first, if you're not doing that, it's going to feel a little awkward or weird, but it's going to take some repetition to know like, okay, this is what we do, and it's okay to talk.
Yeah. I think it'd be easier to make that happen with a therapist versus, because if we've been together for years and I've been trying to open that line of communication or to get that safe space between us and it's just not working, you have to do something different at some point.
Right.
Yeah. And we even mentioned before we came on the air that, just even setting up a time at night to talk about your day and what happened and what, have that regular communication.
Yeah.
And, because we do tend to, okay, well, they're not talking to me, they're doing something else. So it builds and builds and builds. And then, it becomes an outburst.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So many avoiders, right?
Avoidant person.
Just like push it down. It's like, why did you blow up about the, mac and cheese? It wasn't about the mac and cheese. It was about all this other stuff that you avoided.
Right, yeah. That's funny. It's funny because it's so true.
Yeah.
What communication habits slowly disconnect couples, often without them realizing it?
Definitely the short responses has been mine. Being very short, being distracted with your phone, technology.
Yeah. It has to be a big one now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so
you're trying to get someone's attention
easy.
and they just can't get off the phone.
Right. And sometimes it's like you kind of see like the creeping like of the hand, like just going back, even though there's that like intention, but it's also just like how so many people are like wired right now. It's like, hey, this is kind of like another limb of mine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's having to put it like in a basket or on the other side of the room or something.
Keep it in the kitchen, then go to the bedroom. Yeah.
And
that's really true.
Yeah. Phones are a big distraction.
Right. And a lot of us too, we tend to use our phones as to help with if we're feeling like anxious.
Yeah.
Right. And we're like in a grocery store and we're just like waiting around, like, oh, okay, let me just like, right. So so if we're feeling anxious in a conversation, like that's been your coping mechanism when you're by yourself. So it's like it makes sense why we do it, even though we like logically know we do.
Right.
I do that. Like if I'm passing someone and it just feels kind of awkward, just to avoid the whole situation, I'll just look at my watch and act like I got a notification.
That's a long notification.
It works every time, and I started to realize I do that a lot.
You're always looking at your watch.
Yeah, so if there's nothing happening on my watch, but I'm acting like there is, it's because I'm trying to avoid someone.
Now I know.
I was just gonna say, I'll keep an eye on that.
She'll be like, bitch.
The next meeting. He's avoiding me. Talking about excitement, how can couples reintroduce excitement and adventure when life feels routine or predictable?
Routine. So before I jump into how to introduce excitement, routine and predictability aren't the bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Routine. As humans, right? Again, we rely on predictability and routine that helps us feel safe. It makes our nervous system know that, okay, I know what to expect, so I don't have to be on alert all the time, right? Nature and everything runs on like routine, like a set schedule, right? So it's okay that especially if you have children, regardless of what age they're at right now, that routine is going to be part of your life.
Yeah.
So like to embrace that part is really important, but the piece of excitement is still so necessary to feel alive, right? Because if not, it feels like we're just on autopilot, and then we wake up one day and it's like, wait, what year is it? Like, how long have we been married? Like
and
we haven't
just
celebrated
end up being
anything.
roommates for
Right,
years.
exactly. Yeah. So going back into what does excitement mean? It's that piece of just learning new things. It could be, you don't have to necessarily learn new things together because people have different interests and that's okay. But sometimes even just like having interest in what your partner is interested. Like, okay, I hate golfing, but sure, I'm going to listen to how excited you are about your golf clubs or swinging, whatever that means, right? And that's okay, right? You have to almost like tell yourself like, okay, this is just like a 15-minute conversation. I can do this, right? I can handle, because this is exciting for them. And I'm learning about them. And it can be something so simple as, hey, we haven't tried this dessert yet. Let's go pick it up and have it for dessert at home. Or this new bottle of wine. Or let's watch this movie. It's something we've never watched. And then you could both hate it at the end. But hey, we did it together, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be... you're going kayaking down the Grand Canyon, right? Like it can still be something realistic and manageable in a busy schedule.
Right.
And if you want to plan like a Grand Canyon trip, like awesome, yes, go for it, right? That thrill seeking piece, but it's just more of like what is realistic for the day-to-day couple.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think about it because otherwise, it just feels overwhelming. Like I have to make this big, huge adventure so that we can both have for a fun day. When it could be something as simple as going to get ice cream or something different.
Right.
Well, you're mentioning the Grand Canyon and going down the river. That's my love language. And how do you have your couples do like a love language test? And do you think that plays a big role in knowing each other that way and bringing the excitement back into things?
It does, because it's more so just knowing, like when I think about love language, I think about like, this is how you want to feel loved. And sometimes we love people the way we want to be loved. So if quality time is important to me, I'm going to be giving you all the quality time. But if for you, it's touch. You're like, you're not doing anything.
Right. The Grand Canyon and kayaking down. That's my love language.
Yeah, you're right. It's
Yeah.
not about what you want.
Yeah.
You have to know what your partner's love language is.
Yeah.
And they have to know yours. It has to be like a 50-50 on that for sure.
Yes. Both people need to be putting in that intention and wanting to know.
Yeah. So what are some simple, actionable ways to rekindle physical passion in the relationship?
So if physical passion has sort of dwindled away, what I always recommend couples is take time to explore each other's bodies. Like whether that's just touch with your clothes on first, right? Because sometimes there's this pressure of needing to perform or maybe there's a like body image issue kind of happening that, I don't want you to see me. It's been so many years or I've had so many kids now or whatever it may be, right? That there's this maybe wanting to hide or maybe not the ability to perform. So having to take away that pressure of, hey, this is what touch means for me. And this is how, like when you touch me here, this is what I like because that's what turns me on. And having those conversations because we lose track of what that means, especially for couples that have been together for so long. Yeah. They assume, I know exactly. I know what they like. And it's like, well, I used to like that. And now I want something more, or I want something different, or I want to try something new. And being able to find that spark is starting very, very slow and taking away the pressure of it has to be this way every single time.
Yeah.
That just makes me think of one thing. Not to man bash, but I feel like men always think they know what you like. So how can you tell them without them getting defensive or having their feelings get hurt what you really like?
It depends if it's happening like in the moment or not.
Yeah, right?
Ideally, you would want to have the conversation not in the moment. But it's okay to kind of share like, hey, like I want to just try something different, or I know you do XYZ, but I really like this over here, right? Because there's this like I think ego boost too, not just for men, but I think also for women too. Like oh yeah, like they really like that. No, but there's this part of being able to connect too, and it's like being able to receive instruction can also be like a turn on too. So that's something too to kind of play with.
Yeah.
Are there some fun novelty practices they could bring into?
I would say sensory, and what I mean by that is, I don't know what this show is rated, but
it's not for children.
Okay. Whether it's the use of like sex toys or even if it's just in a different location, the use of like, gosh, there's like a term and I can't think of it, but whether it's using like ice or like heat, like the sensory part of like,
feathers or whatever.
So
there's
a term.
With
dominatrix. Another mask.
Because at the end of the day, there's like still kind of like will likely end the same way, right? But there's like the experience during intimacy that is really important, and also that part of, hey, I'm being vulnerable and trusting you, and we're exploring this together. And I didn't like ice. No, that made a mess, right? Like we probably should have put a towel down, right? So like knowing those pieces. So like knowing those pieces can be helpful. But the novelty parts are just like giving yourselves permission to have fun and explore. It doesn't mean that you pull everything out of the box in one night, but it can be just like one thing, once a week to kind of feel like, okay, I can, this is manageable, and this will also like last too. Because with intimacy, especially with couples that have been together for a long time, it's that it ebbs and flows, and that is normal, right? Some couples, it's like, this is amazing for a good month, and then it's like, what happened these last 2 months?
Right.
And that's normal. It's just a matter of how are you what happened? Was it really stressful at work?
Right.
Was it the holidays and you're just tired? Like what's going on to then bring yourselves back to each other?
Yeah. I went to Love Shack Boutique because Amy had her customer appreciation day, and they had these cards. They had vendors there, and the cards were just telling couples, they were asking questions just about like what things that you like, and also telling them to do things. I'm like, that would be so much easier than just bringing it up. Like, just pull out this deck of cards and just kind of let it guide us. I thought that'd be a really easy way to do it.
Right. They had those deck of cards in Greece all over the place. It was like
Greece
the sex
was
cards.
Perverted. It's like X-rated. So what does emotional intimacy really look like? Like, what is that if you break it down?
Really simple. It's just the part of that I can be vulnerable with my partner and I'm not afraid that they're going to look at me in a different way, right? I can come to them and say, hey, this is really scary for me. And now they're going to be there and not try to fix you and not try to change it or just say like, why are you scared? Right?
Yeah.
like instead that part of like, that does sound scary. Or I can see why you're scared if they don't agree with you. I can see why that would be scary for you, and I'm here for you.
Yeah,
but
no judging.
It's just that part of I can, like, to be emotional intimate, that piece, I can open up, right? And it can be in a very serious thing. I'm giving this presentation, or I'm afraid about this promotion, whatever it may be. Or it can be about intimacy, as we've been talking about, or about, motherhood, or being a parent. There's so many things that we as people sometimes don't share because it's like, I don't know how they're gonna perceive me after that, and I need to look like I'm strong and I have it together all the time.
And how should couples not respond, like the other partner not respond to things?
I think it's the piece of like the correction, the correction of trying to fix you. Unless if that's what unless that's what you're wanting, it's okay to say like, hey, I'm having trouble with this. I need help problem solving, right? Yeah. Then yes, thinking brain, fixing mode, let's do it, right? But if it's just the vulnerable piece, what I hear so many times with the couples I work with is that they don't understand me. And then the partner's saying, I do understand you. I understood why you made this problem. I gave you solutions. Like, no, you didn't understand how I was feeling, right? And I have to sometimes like break it down for them of like, okay, it's more about the emotion, and also for the person who's opening up to say like, I feel scared versus I feel like this person doesn't know what they're doing. I feel this, right? Because then the person's like, are you frustrated? Are you mad? Are you scared? Like what? There's a guessing game happening. So back to that was a long-winded answer, but the question is that piece of fixing mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that whenever you're talking to someone, relationship or friendship or whatever it may be, sometimes you just want someone to hear you out. Like, just listen to me. I don't need you to solve my problem.
Right.
I just need you to support me. Just be there.
Yeah.
And just because I feel the same way. Like, sometimes I want to say something. You don't always have to answer this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just hear me out.
Right.
So I think that's important.
Yes.
How can partners stay curious about each other even after many years together?
Letting go of assumption, especially if you've been together for like over a decade, right? We all do such a great job of getting to know the person at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? What's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? You don't like that sauce? What? Like, I love this place to travel, right? We do such a great job at the very beginning, and then we lose track of that, and we just think, oh, we know it all. Or I've been with them. I know what that exhale means, right? Or whatever, the situation is. And if we constantly assume, we make up a story in our head that sometimes is not real. And that's what often gets us in trouble, right? So there's this curiosity, and we go, go through our interactions with our partner with that curiosity of, hey, notice you did that, like, is everything okay? Or, you what's going on?
Yeah.
Cause in the past, this is what it's meant. What's happening right now. Right. And if you have that open conversation or agreement, I should say, of let's be curious with each other. And like, when we check in, to give ourselves that permission to open up and learn from each other versus, I already told you this is how I feel. Right?
Yeah.
Just like the
the snappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely be open to new experiences.
Yeah.
What role does self-awareness and even self-love play in creating passion?
Very vital. If we're not filling up our own cup, it's hard to pour into others, right? We all know that. Put your own mask on before you put someone else's on. But it's also self-awareness gives you that clarity of knowing what you want. So that way when you're turning to your partner, you can explicitly say what it is that you want versus I want more. Like more of what? Right? Because the other person's like, okay, alert, right? Like they have a problem. How can I help them? Right? Because chances are they still are trying to fix things, or they hear them. It's like, okay, I like you as a person, right? So let's try to get to some sort of resolution. But there's this piece of being able to explicitly say like, oh yeah, I want to feel loved, and this is what love means for me. And there's that part of being able to explain that to someone. And if you're not self-aware or loving yourself and just people pleasing, maybe it's going to be hard to know how to share that.
That's what I think of, because as women, we're constantly taking care of everybody else, and we want to make sure I'm giving you what you want and what you need, but you also have to get what you need in return. So
can that be piggybacking off of what she just said? We give and give and give, and then do you find it when another spouse is like, fine, I need to do something for myself, does that come as a jealous thing, like, oh, you're being selfish? How do you solve that problem in a relationship?
Yes. So I was having a conversation earlier, just how sometimes this can be also a cultural piece too. But I think a lot for women, there's this part of like, what does your role look like? And sometimes that guilt or like selfishness can come up. So it's that part of, again, being able to share with your partner of, this is what I'm needing. Like, I need some of that time, or we both need that individual time to take care of us in order to be the best version of myself for you or for our family, or for, for myself at work, for my team, right? Because there's that part, we play so many different roles, and we're constantly just like, okay, here I am as a wife, as a mom, as a teammate, as a sister, but and it's like, okay, but what about me? And sometimes that me time, alone time can just be like a bath, right? It's sometimes just like turning off everything. Like, I just don't want any, I just need alone time. And sometimes it could be, hey, I'm going out for a girls' night, right? And it's that like trust piece too, when it comes to like a partner to understand that. so I think as you maybe shared in my bio, right, I have modern wellness counseling, which I've worked with a lot of couples who maybe are already like, okay, this is our last, you're our last hope. And I'm like, oh, great. And then I also have couples coaching, which are couples who are a little bit more proactive and are asking these questions of like, hey, okay, what can we be doing to make sure we don't end up, in this like, we're always like constantly butting heads, right? So yeah, there's that part of the agreement of like, okay, what does trust look like? What does that mean for each of you? So that way it's not well, where are you going and what's happening? And it feels more like an attack, and they just like don't take care of yourself because of that.
Yeah.
Would you recommend that couples see a therapist early in their marriage just to kind of get a baseline?
Mm-hmm. I would. So premarital counseling is always helpful, and you don't have to do it at the, like when you're engaged, you can do it like in the first like few years, right? And what I've seen is that a lot of couples wait until it's too late. Yeah. And it can sometimes be, not to, I have a husband, I love him, right? But sometimes it's men who will say like, I'm not talking, like, it's not that big of a deal, or you're the issue, right? Mm-hmm. So there's this resistance, which is a huge reason why I started couples coaching, because once I said, oh, it's coaching, it's not counseling, all the men were on board.
Different. Yeah.
Like, they're the ones who are driving, like, who wanted that, like, to learn. And for them, it was like, oh, I'm just learning a skill. I don't have a problem, even though we're talking about the same stuff. It's really interesting. And I mean, and it is delivered differently. Yeah. We aren't diving so much into like trauma and, other things, but the fact that there's this like intentionality now and like desire of like wanting to, okay, like, yeah, let me learn this skill versus like, oh, you're telling me I have a problem, which,
exactly.
Sometimes can be like a counseling.
It just seems like it'd be so much easier with a mediator, right? Versus just attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If a couple feels like they've drifted apart, what's the first step they can take today to reconnect?
So if they felt, if you're listening right now and you're like, oh my gosh, this is us, or oh my god, like this is, I don't want to go down this path. Like I completely get it, right? Couples sometimes aren't handed like a manual on that reconnection. So sometimes it is that piece of asking yourself, okay, what does connection look like for me? Like what do I need right now in my life? Because sometimes your season today may have looked very different than it, a couple of years ago. It's going to look different from what you need in a few years. So asking yourself, what is that you need right now? And how can you tell your partner that? Because as you were sharing your end, right, there's this piece of sometimes both people are missing each other. Yeah. And they're asking for the same thing. They're saying, have the same wants and longing for each other. They just don't know how to explain it. Right. And it's that part of, okay, I miss us. Let's take some time to see what we can fix. Right? I have a great quiz on my website that talks about like, is miscommunication drifting you apart? Because sometimes people avoid deep conversations because they just don't want to make things worse. Right? They're afraid of making things worse, so they're just like, I'm just going to avoid it altogether.
I feel attacked.
Right. You're like, stop talking like that.
Do you see a lot of issues with empty nesters trying to reconnect? Because for the years, it's just been all about the children and not each other. So what would be a recommendation for those people who are trying to reconnect after a life of raising their kids? Yeah, so if they are either already empty nesters or about to hit that stage, right, it's a couple of things, right? So one way is to acknowledge the life that they have already built, right? And expressing some gratitude there. Yeah. Like, hey, like we did it.
Yeah, we're here. We look, these humans are alive still, right? Like they're out in the world. And giving yourself that credit, giving the other person credit, because so many times we don't express that appreciation or get it ourselves, even though sometimes we're wanting that throughout all those hard years. And being able to then take that time for each other of, as we talked about, exploring your bodies again and having fun and making that time for intimacy and for dates and travel. Yeah, let's finally get to the Grand Canyon and kayak down the river, right? Like, so knowing what that like adventure looks like now for you, because you're not like the same like 20, 30-year-old person that when y'all first, decide to have kids, right? It looks different now. And acknowledging that piece is huge. But definitely the appreciation is a big one.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun because you don't have to wait for the kids to go to sleep anymore. You want it, go.
It's our house now. They're out there. You have 1-year-old, so you have a long way to go.
Oh, yeah.
How do you rebuild trust, excitement, or intimacy when you feel you're starting from scratch? I know we kind of talked about it.
Yeah. And there's a piece that sometimes you're not always starting from scratch, right? Or from ground zero, you're starting from experience.
Yeah.
Maybe what experience isn't what you wanted, right? But there's this part of what I would always recommend is how are you getting back to that sense of emotional safety, right? And very similar to vulnerability, right? Is that piece of I can open up, and maybe you do need a mediator, like a therapist or a coach or someone to help guide you and like, yeah, don't say that, or that wasn't, helpful. But there's this part of once you're able to rebuild that sense of safety and connection, then taking those risks and exploring yourself and that self-awareness, self-care, or each other just makes it so much easier because you have this huge foundation that, if it was kind of tipped the other way of let's go do all this, let's spend a month in Europe, and you're like, who's this other person? I haven't talked to you in forever. So definitely taking that time to enjoy or to build the communication, the emotional safety.
What are some tools and exercises that you have or that you recommend for your couples that come in to see you?
One is making sure that there's this like pause and reset whenever you feel like you're like it's a tough conversation. And most couples can identify the topics that are tough for them, whether that's finances, sex, parenting, in-laws, right? Like most couples can say like, oh yeah, no, that's a touchy subject, politics, right? So whatever it may be, and know that it's okay to get angry. Anger, mad, frustration is a normal response, right? But the fact that you're agreeing to respect each other at all times. And the way you do that is acknowledging like, okay, I'm going to take a pause right now. I'm going to take a deep breath. And what do I want to say right now in response so that I'm still respecting my partner? And sometimes it's just like very simple, like slow it down, because what happens when we're upset, right? We just react. And we say things and they're like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean that. I was mad. It's like, well, you still hurt the other person's feelings.
They're not going to forget that.
So definitely the pausing before responding is important. And it doesn't have to be I'm walking out of the room and avoiding the conversation. It's literally like 2 long deep breaths. Like
if you don't have a response, do you recommend that they like, I don't want to talk about it, but I will get back to you by the end of the day type thing? Like say I'll come back and we'll talk about it. Right.
The acknowledgement of I heard you, like I hear that, I don't know what to say, or I can see that this is important for you, so I want to take some time and think about it. Right. And I'll come back to you at the end of the day. Give me an hour. I'm going to walk around the block and think about it. Because the other chances are the other person's like, tell me right now. We're having this conversation right now. And then it doesn't go anywhere.
I see people who like say, do it right now. But you have some people who, I want to talk about everything. I want to hash it out and get it over with. And then you have people who don't want to talk about anything ever at all. What's a tool for them to use to kind of meet in the middle?
For the person who wants to talk about everything immediately, it's a mindset shift of having to ask themselves, okay, if we don't talk about this right now, what's the worst that's going to happen? And then asking yourself, is that true, right? Because sometimes there's this fear of, if we don't talk about it right now, that's it, we're getting a divorce. Like it's like we're jumping off the deep end. It's like, well, divorce takes a while, right? You're not going to get a divorce right now, right? So, okay, what do I need right now? Oh, I just need to know that they actually care at the end of the day. Because whenever they shut down, I am telling myself they don't care about me, or I don't matter, my worth, right? So it kind of goes deeper and deeper and deeper. So it's that part of asking yourself, okay, what am I actually turning to them for? And is that actually what I'm asking for, like, of them in this moment? Because it's like being able to figure that out, and then the other person to know, like, okay, all I really need is for me to just listen sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, it's sometimes not that hard, and we, as people, overcomplicate everything. Like, just everything in life.
So true.
Do you have, you mentioned your website. What tools do you have on your website, and what's your website?
Yeah, so it's Elaroco, so it's ELAROCO.com/quiz. There's a quick 2-minute quiz that you can take, and you can kind of understand, is miscommunication something that's happening within our relationship that is drifting us apart, right? Communication, we hear it all the time, right? Like, newlyweds, they ask, like, what's the most important thing? Right? Communication. And it's like, well, okay, well, what is that? What does that mean? So being able to learn, and they'll give you a personalized, like, result and some tips to follow after that, and ways to reconnect, and just some, like, little fun games for you to do. So,
cool. So they can do it together.
They can do it together.
Oh, nice.
They can do it together, yeah. Or by themselves if one partner may be resistant or just not, there at the moment.
Man.
When someone comes in to see you for the first time, a couple, what's your initial appointment like for them?
Yeah, good question. So normally what that looks like is asking them some questions related to what happens when you're upset. I always go there, like, what happens when you're upset? Like, what does that normally look like? And are you the person who shuts down, or, I need to talk about it right now? And then being able to go from there, like, okay, this is what you're needing, talking about the needs, and how can the other person get there. Once we kind of identify that, then it's backing up a little bit and understanding, okay, how can you then, like, heal for yourself? And that's a lot of self-care, a lot of different ways of how to compose yourself, self-regulation, because without self-regulation, you can be, you can learn all the things, and if you aren't emotionally regulated, you can't tap into any of that knowledge, right? So it's vital that you know how to self-regulate if you want to be able to implement what you are learning. So we kind of go back a little bit, and then go back to the communication piece, and then that's when couples then are at a point where they can rebuild, because they've already created that emotional safety and connection. So then we talk about intimacy and how to thrive from there.
Wow. That's a lot to talk about in one session.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first session is more on the
discovery.
Discovery piece. And then the rest of it, that's how we...
I'm curious.
Yeah. Good. Catch there. Yeah, because it's... but sometimes it's just like, I'll tell them, like, we're not going to get to everything right now. But this is what the setup looks like. So that way they at least know where we're going. And I follow a framework that I developed called HEART. And that's what my program is also. It's Wayfinding with Heart. So it kind of walks them through all these different steps. So that way they at least know, where are we at together? Right? Where are we going? Because that's always an important piece in working together.
So we hear a lot about emotional intelligence. What is that? Just what exactly is that?
To be emotionally intelligent is that piece of knowing, it's one of those parts where you're tapping into how's the other person feeling, right? The empathy piece. And just, like, being respectful. That's kind of like how there's, like, really...
Just kind of knowing.
Long definitions. And really it's just that piece of being, like, a kind, respectful person of, I see you're hurting right now. I'm not going to beat you. Like, why are you upset? Why are you doing it? Like there's that part of saying, like, I can see you're having a tough time. I'm here for you.
Right. Just recognizing the emotion of others.
Exactly.
So how can listeners get a hold of you if they want to reignite their marriage or just their relationship in general?
So you can have a newsletter called The Wayfinder, and you can subscribe to that on my website, which is Elaroco, ELAROCO.com, and then /quiz is where you can access that quiz that I mentioned, that you can then discover, okay, what does that look like for us in our relationship? And I'm also on Instagram and TikTok and under Elaroco.official, and then on LinkedIn, which is just my name, Priscilla Rodriguez. And I share a lot of information.
Elaroco? What does that have a meaning?
So it's a combination. So I made it up. People are like, what is that? And then after I launched my business, I was like, oh, I see the confusion. But Elaro is just a mixture of heart and like elevate. So there's this part of, okay, how are we together, like finding this connection and love and code for connection and communication. So it was just
nice. That's cute.
Elaro. And then I was like, I want it to be longer. So I added the
That's good.
You should have seen how long it took me to come up with that. But I wanted something different. And it was going to be a whole other long name. And it was sort of taken. And I was like, it's kind of not basic, but I just wanted something like for that part to be like, oh, what does that mean? And I love my, I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, show it.
Like,
it's so cute.
I love that.
Like logo. So if you've ever looked at a map and you see like the little drop pin, this is what that's supposed to like resemble, the little like drop pin, because it's like everything in my business kind of going forward is like wayfinding with heart and how it's like your GPS and compass for to find each other. I love hiking. That's why I always bring up like national parks and stuff.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah, so like the outdoors and finding your GPS and like the navigation and being a tour guide. So that's kind of where my heart is at. So I was like, I need my friend who was helping me with all my branding. He was like, Elaroco has nothing to do with navigation. I'm like, it's me. Like,
it makes sense to you, and that's all that matters.
I was looking at your website, and you also work with single people. It's not just couples, right? So if someone is looking to get into a relationship, you help them maybe with past trauma or other things. So I just wanted to put that out there. It's not only couples. Right.
Yeah. So, and I do a lot of that more so with like modern wellness counseling. Especially like past trauma, but it's like actual like, trauma, anxiety, depression, like that's something that I'm licensed in as a licensed marriage and family therapist. Nice. And then with Elaroco and Wayfinding with Heart, couples, if it's a single person within a couple, they can also go through the program as well. And because a lot of it too is also like finding that accountability for yourself. And sometimes we need to like go through something by ourselves before bringing in the other person just to get that, like,
I think so.
Okay, I can process this by myself first before we have that conversation with the other person.
Because you're always, I shouldn't say you, we are always quick to blame, like, oh, I just haven't found the right guy. Every guy I've met has just been trash. What if it's me? Like, I need to figure that out.
Yeah. So, I mean, we all have like survival mechanisms and behaviors that we've done because we had to at some point. And then that's kind of just stuck with us. So having to figure out, okay, how can I break away from some of these behaviors and patterns that, and reminding myself, hey, I am safe. I don't need to keep doing that, but I can also trust myself along the way.
Yeah.
So you would help also someone individual-wise that's gone through a divorce, not like, and they still have kind of trauma from that marriage, and then they don't want to. It's hard for them to think about dating again. Like help them through that process as well.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your phone number?
I know. Find you one.
That's great.
How do you say it again?
Elaroco.
Thank you so much, Priscilla, for joining us today. It's been very informative and fun. It's great having a conversation today.
Yeah, very important.
Yes.
Thank you.